So I figured I'd do like a little opener, right? Welcome everyone back to Milk and Whiskey, where you're gonna get a raw, unfettered glass of recovery stories with a shot of humor. And yes, we may dabble in other topics, but my main goal is to shed some light on recovery. So, tell us about yourself.
Oh, hey, my name is Shelby.
Okay.
I'm a woman of God. Well, I don't like to call myself that, but I am a child of God.
Okay.
And yeah, what do you want to know?
What do you do?
For work,
Mm-hmm.
I am a server at the moment. I also do real estate.
Okay.
I help people sell their houses. Recently, I've been getting a lot of people who um are elderly selling their houses. So that's pretty nice, pretty cool. Love helping them. And yeah,
Okay. What about you, Terry? What do you tell us about yourself?
Oh, well, my name is Terry. I'm an alcoholic. And,
You just love saying that. Hey, Terry.
hey, because that's what I am. That's what's going to keep me sober another day. God willing, in 5 weeks, I'll have 3 years sober, longest I've been sober. I drank for 33 years. I didn't think I was no alcoholic until I came into the room to AA. You know, got divorced after a year sober, and I still didn't drink because by that time, the obsession to drink had been lifted because I had got a sponsor, started working the steps, and started being surrounded by people that was alcoholics just like me, but they wasn't using. And that's what's kept me sober today. Not being selfish and going and doing service work, volunteer work, helping the homeless and things like that. Um, Today I never thought I'd be doing things like that, but it actually I look forward to it. Like on Mondays, I go to Hope Church and help the homeless with showers, cleaning the showers and things like that. In my drinking career, I didn't think about none of that. I didn't think about my own family. And I got 4 kids by my ex-wife. And I thought I was like a great father, because all the bills was paid. I was a manager at Red Lobster. I worked there for 20 years. And I took them on vacations, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and things like that. And so
I wish I had you as a dad.
I was thinking like, I thought I was like a great dad and a great husband. You know what I mean?
I just wanted my dad to be there.
And that all I was doing was drinking because drinking, they sell it in the store. So I was like, even though I was drinking by myself and drinking a half a gallon,
Yeah.
I didn't think I was no alcoholic. I never did. Even though my parents, which they stay in Chicago, they was telling me, my brothers and sisters, they stay in Chicago, they was telling me every time they got on the phone with me, they really didn't want to talk. They said instantly, "You've been drinking." And I'd be like, nah. They'd be like, "You can tell you've been drinking." Even if I took a couple of shots, it was like, "You've been drinking." I was like, nah.
Have you ever struggled with alcohol or drugs or anything like that?
I never struggled with it, but my father struggled with addiction to pills. So I grew up kind of like, he was a really great dad, but there was this thing that was always a part of my life that I really hated, and it affected me so much, and I didn't realize how much it affected me until I grew up. Well, it really did. Well, I struggled with mental health, and it's not the same. I didn't have a vice, but it ate me inside, and I just knew I never wanted to do that because I saw that in my dad. So that's what really kind of kept me from turning to a vice.
Mhm. So you're like what we call an Al-Anon because you got a family member that's a drug addict or an alcoholic,
Mm,
and
So you drink socially?
no,
Oh, so you don't drink, period.
no,
Oh,
you
okay.
don't do any drugs.
no,
Never done any drugs. You
no.
never drank.
Okay,
What
I
the heck?
smoked weed in
You
high
got
school. Okay,
okay.
I mean,
All right, here we go.
here we go, right?
It's all right. I've done
No,
something. I can't just lie.
no, stop. Okay. Dang, but this isn't something that I think about or
Yeah.
talk about. So, so in high school, I was a freshman in high school and I had no experience with drugs or anything like that. But I fell in love with this boy and
It's
he,
always some boy
mm,
or some girl for us, right?
yeah. So he kind of was like dibbling and dabbling in a bunch of different things that I kind of just knew he was, but I was so used to being around things like that because of my dad that I just like I didn't think that it was such a bad thing. I just accepted him for who he was, and it's so crazy because now like I hear you like you date your dad,
Hmm.
and so I
Yeah.
he was literally just like my dad. He looked like my dad and he was doing things like my dad, so it was just that's what I was used to. Anyways,
Did they? I hate when they say that, like you're gonna date someone just like your mom or someone just like
but
your
he was
dad.
my first love, like
Yeah.
in a non-weird way. Like, you know, your dad is the first man that you love. So, um, I don't know. That's just and
So, what are your views on addiction or alcoholism?
well, so he kind of blew something in my face one time and I was like trying to be cute and
That was it, or did you actually hit it?
it was K2.
Oh man, that
And I tripped balls.
yeah.
So
I've seen people do like exorcisms on that thing.
what do you mean?
Tucci.
Look, okay, I'm gonna tell you a little story. I was in Jacksonville doing door ringers, like door knocking, like putting like little advertisements for Spectrum or one of those internet companies. And we were in this hotel. It was a 2-bedroom hotel with 4 guys. It was like weird. Nobody could find anything because we would go out and put these little door knockers on people's door, and everybody had one common goal while we were doing it: find weed or find something to bring back to the hotel at night.
Mm,
And a guy found K2,
mm,
and we decided that we would smoke that. And I kid you not, there was this moment where the guy who brought it looked, I don't know if I was hallucinating, but it looked like there was like a demon coming out of his mouth.
when I tell
Like
you,
he was like, "Ah." I was like this big ass bubble coming out of it. I was like, what the fuck is he throwing up? And
you
I'm like,
saw that?
I saw that. We all saw it. Like
Oh,
we were like, what the fuck is this? I don't know. We were all tripping on the same shit. And then like, you know, like that Santeria thing.
yeah.
Well, he did come to find out he does that, and
Mm-mm.
like, um, we that day we were like all praying on him. We were like, we went from like wanting to get high to like, yo, we gotta do an exorcism right now.
Wow.
And he's like, "Ah," like, and we still went to sleep that night. And a couple of times I would wake up and that guy's like hovering over my fucking bed. I'm like, yo, I gotta get the fuck home like today. I gotta get home.
Today.
Yeah, I left that day. I was like, I'm done. I'm like, I woke up. I'm like, give me my money. Take me home.
What?
I'm not doing this.
So I had an experience that I've never experienced before on that where like thoughts and words never stopped repeating itself and I heard myself over and over again. It was like I couldn't stop. It was
It was like
uncontrollable.
an echo.
An echo over and over and over. Any new thought I had, it would just
Ooh,
echo over and over. I couldn't control it. And then I heard like the devil laughing
mhm.
at me. And
Like,
I
oh, 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 oh.
exactly. And I've never heard and knew that it was that, but I heard that and I was like, "Oh no, he was mocking me." And then I heard God and I don't remember what he was saying, but I knew he was there. So I just knew
Yeah.
that there was two worlds going on and I started screaming and wailing and it was bad. It was bad and so that was like my first encounter really with drugs and I was like, he's not gonna have
So you
me.
you only smoked K2
No,
or?
I mean, I tried weed, but then, I mean, it didn't really do much. I don't really like it.
Mhm.
It was like, didn't do much to me.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny. I mean, I don't have to ask you. You already told us.
Alcohol.
So you know how earlier when we were at breakfast and I told you about like, have you noticed anything in the media about people in recovery or any like movie? I mean, I know there's been a couple movies with people coming out, like Rocket Man and The Beautiful Boy, and I mean, obviously, like if you're in your recovery, it's hard to miss, right? It's hard to miss certain things that come up, and it's almost like you say you're a woman of God, child of God. You go to church, right? And right,
I do, but I haven't been going as often.
okay, and I remember. So just to give you guys some context, I met Shelby. Like, has it been 7 years ago? Right?
Probably.
Yeah, because I know it was before I relapsed, and
Mhm.
I was like a year and 8 months before I relapsed, and in that year and 8 months is when I met you,
Mhm.
and it was at New Birth. It
Mhm.
was this church, and she was always like the one, making sure everybody didn't park where they weren't supposed to park, you know, and I mean that's what I really and Cynthia. I know you hung out with Cynthia a lot.
Did you know her from AA?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, um,
And she brought you there, right? She
yeah.
introduced you.
She told me about it. Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's how I started going over there, and I mean, it was fun because, like, it's one of those when you're a young adult and you're going to a church, it's not one of your common places to go to where it's kind of boring and glum. Like, everybody's hip and, I'm an old man saying hip, right? But it's like, it just felt welcoming.
No, you
And
were so loved.
yeah,
Like, I think you really stood out to at least the group of us, the 5 of you know who I'm talking about?
yeah,
Yeah, well, I think really everybody.
yeah,
But I think it's just because when you came in, like, you you you're saying, like, you felt old? Or
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you didn't make us feel like we were making you feel too old, and it was cool because it's like, yeah, like, you are part of us, like, you
yeah,
are part like, you are welcome here type thing, and with that, you were very vulnerable, and we, like, really appreciated that, and because not everybody opens up and tells their story and is, like, really trying to be a community like church is
yeah,
supposed to be, but we found community with you and you found community with us, and so you were just so loved.
yeah. I mean, I still want to go back over there, and go whenever they have services and just to see everybody still.
I don't think everybody's there. I don't
Yeah,
none of the people that really, like, were there when we were there.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, it means a lot. And during my relapse, right, it was about 2 to 3 months that I thought that. So the reason why I called this podcast "Milk and Whiskey" was because, like, in the book, this guy thought he suddenly thought he can mix his milk with whiskey.
Who book? What book?
This book right here. So
What's that book?
it's our big book. It's the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm
So
sorry, I'm learning.
okay. So AA is not just a fellowship. It's a fellowship that derived out of this book.
Okay.
Okay. And this book was actually derived from the Bible.
Okay.
Okay. What separates it is because we're dabbling more about alcohol and addiction
Yeah.
And
and
spirituality.
spirituality. It's like you don't have to just believe in Jesus.
Mhm.
You can believe in anything you want. Because this guy named Ebby Thatcher, he told Bill Wilson, "Hey, how about you come up with your own conception of God?" Because he was an atheist or agnostic,
Mhm.
and that helped him open up to the realm of God.
Okay.
So it was like I heard this said that it was like a funny way that God allowed alcoholics to come to him because it's like, hey, first of all, we're gonna let them create us, and then they're gonna have to turn in their will life and their will in their life over to us, right?
Mhm.
First, they're gonna have to realize that they can't live without us. Then they're gonna come to believe in us, create us, and then turn their will and their life over to us. It's
And
just
who's saying that?
it was just no, it's not the book. It's just something I've heard.
Oh, okay.
It's like a funny little like theory that somebody came up with a speaker tape. But besides this, I'm going way off track. I'm gonna reel it back in. So when I went back out, I thought that I could have a half a pill of ecstasy
Mhm.
because my main thing was weed, cocaine, crack, and alcohol. So those things, or Molly,
So everything.
yeah, some Xanax and perks, and you know. So basically, everything that didn't like everything that I can get my hands on, I would call it a cross addiction because one thing would lead to another, and I would like go back and forth. But I didn't dabble with heroin or anything because the one time a dealer tried to give me that, like my body immediately repelled it. I didn't like it at all. I had the normal reaction, which is I didn't like it. I don't want it anymore. But everything else was fair game. Ecstasy, I never really thought that I had a problem with it.
Mhm.
And the first year and 8 months, I didn't work the 12 steps. It's a 12-step program, but I didn't work the 12 steps. And the 12 steps allows me to be connected to God, which is the power that's keeping me sober today. Because without my connection to God, I have no power. My will always be, my default setting will always be to use.
Mm. Should I ask questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, does it ever go into, like, why? Like,
Why what?
why, um,
Yeah,
why am I addicted, or why am I an addict, or why do I choose this?
well, it tells us about us being selfish and self-centered.
Is that, like,
And
the
we're
bottom line?
so like think of it as an allergy, okay? So if I come to you and I'm telling you you're as a doctor saying, "Are you allergic to any chemical or any medications?" Right?
Mhm,
The normal response for people who aren't allergic would be no, right?
mhm,
For us, I would always tell the doctor now, I'll tell them, "Yeah, I'm allergic to opiates, or I'm allergic to cocaine. I'm allergic to anything that may make me feel good because that euphoric. I don't know what it is, but exactly, but it talks about a phenomenon of craving, right?
mhm.
So my body, my abnormal reaction, my allergic reaction is that my body physically craves more. Okay,
Okay.
so that's why people can who have the allergy will become addicted. Like they were trying to feed an overcoming urge of in their body that just they couldn't.
So it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, because 'cause I'm just trying to understand. It sounds like it's a disorder, 'cause,
Yeah,
allergies can be like a disorder, because
y-
your body reacts a certain way to something.
yeah. So it actually talks about this doctor, Dr. M.D. Silkbird. He worked with thousands of alcoholics back in that day, and he's the one who classified it as an allergy because I mean, working with thousands of people, and they all have the same exact. Sorry about that. They all have the same exact reaction,
Mhm.
right? The phenomenon of craving and hold on. Sorry about that. But it wasn't just the phenomenon of craving. It was also the obsession, right? So imagine, an OCD,
Yeah.
right? People have obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yeah.
So it's also coupled with that,
Okay,
right?
so
So
and that's a disorder,
yeah,
or they classify it as one.
because any normal person who doesn't have the OCD part would be like, okay, I'm allergic. I'm just gonna not do that again. Okay. But my mind, a couple a couple weeks, a couple months later, a couple years later, would be like, well, let's say if I was allergic to peanut butter, or peanuts. I'll be like, well, I'm not going to eat peanuts, but I'm going to have peanut butter. Or I'm going to try cashews. Or I'm going to try
And you're
almonds.
still gonna get a reaction.
I'm still going to have that abnormal reaction, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
So the only way to really
it's
like
so this it's a threefold disease, right? So it's not only in my body physically craves more whenever I consume. When I'm dry, my mind obsesses about that. And then my spirit is total selfishness and self-centeredness. Okay, so my spirit drives my obsession, which drives that obsession drives me to use, and that using drives me to continuously use, and it's a spiral, right? And it talks about me having restlessness, irritability, and discontentness. Most of my life, I was restless, irritable, and discontented with life. Nothing was ever good enough. Nothing was ever enough. When I was a kid, I couldn't have the best toy. Whenever I started dating, the girl wasn't good enough. No girl was ever good enough. Um, Whenever I started using, no drug was ever good enough. You know, and whenever I started going to church or got to like, I was always getting um, I was getting
and you're like insatiable. You know what that is? Like never satisfied.
never satisfied, never satisfied. And whenever I started, like, I mean, obviously at the beginning of my drug use, I would be satisfied, but the next day I would have to always continuously be satisfied,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, I get it.
So a lot of the issue starts in our spirit, right? And it talks about that, right? Like the only way to be cleared mentally and physically is to first start on your spirit, right? And obviously, if I'm totally selfish and self-centered, I don't know how to be rid of myself, right? And only God can make that possible. And I'm uniquely qualified to help another person like Terry, or he's uniquely qualified to help someone like me, right? The only issue is that like I have to continuously do this for the rest of my life, or I'm like clinically insane. My mind would switch suddenly,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know when that will happen, right? If I'm not doing this, I'm convinced that my mind will bring me back to that eventually. So on a day-to-day basis, I start back at zero. I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I pray, meditate in the morning, and then I have to continuously all throughout the day, how can I best serve thee? Thy will not mine be done. And to every circumstance and every situation and every experience and um everything that I do has to be within those parameters of the 12 steps, right? I can exercise my will along those lines as much as I want. And yes, I'm not perfect and I'm going to make mistakes. And that's why we had those steps to where we continuously clean up the past, we clean up the new mistakes as we go along. And I get to have a lot of fun doing it, like we're doing this podcast. I get to go out and have lunch with my friends. We go out for dinner. We go hang out. We go do stuff. We go on vacations. Like one of my his old sponsor, we go on vacations together all the time. We go out of the country together. He wants us to go snowboarding with him, but nobody has 10 grand to just drop and go to Colorado for a week or 10 days. I'm like, if you pay for us all, we'll go. Right? Like, but yeah, I mean, that I wanted to ask you that day when you guys saw me in the middle of the street. So for those of you who don't know the story of like how Shelby is so significant in my life is because the day I came back from my relapse, I was coming from an abandoned house where the girl who I was dating sent me across the street to go steal food. So I mean, I'm not gonna say exactly what she was doing, but she was gonna perform some services for some crack, right? And I mean, she didn't want me to be there while she was doing that, and she was like, "Go steal us some food." And I'm in the middle of the street, and I'm praying in the middle of the street. I'm like, "God, I don't wanna do this anymore." I'm like, "I'm done." And that's when Shelby and a group full of, you know, you 5 or however many people were there stopped and prayed. Like, what was that like for you?
Well, before I get into what it was like for me, because we never talked to about it one on one. I feel like I've talked to them about it, but were you were you relapsed already, or
Yeah,
you were about to?
no, I have relapsed. I was 3 months in
Oh, okay,
of, like, full on crack use,
okay.
homeless, nothing in my pockets.
Yeah, because we didn't see you come to church, and you were coming pretty consistently, and so we definitely noticed that you were not there, and so when we saw you on the street, it just right smack in the middle, and we weren't even supposed to all be together, we weren't supposed to all be in the car, we weren't supposed to be going where we were going, which I don't even know where we were going, but all 5 of us were in the car, and when we saw you, it was like everybody was on the same page immediately. Like God just deposited all of us like in us. Like
He sent you my direct message
y-
'cause
like because we were like, "Oh, this is what we're doing." Like I don't even remember. But as soon as we saw you, we realized like this is it. And you know, we saw you and we were like, I remember Cynthia, and Cynthia knows you from AA, so she was like, it really hurt. Like you can tell, it just like she was just like, oh, and we immediately pulled over because we were like, that's Axel. Boom, skirt pulled over, and I think Kalel was like, we're praying for him, and we screamed out your name probably. I don't remember how it exactly happened.
yeah, y'all were just praying.
And then you
Y'all just
came
started
over.
praying.
We were praying, and I'm looking at you and I'm like, he's on drugs. And I'm looking at you and I'm like, I don't know what this experience is like for him. I don't know if he's really receiving this right now. And I was praying to God more so that you realize how much he loves you and what he's about to like what this really means, because we all knew like God wants this man. And I was just praying really that you were able to receive whatever God was trying to do, because I didn't know that you were praying. Like, we hadn't seen you in months. I didn't know what was going on. So because we were all being loud, we were praying, we were on fire, but you're in this state, and I'm like, this, and I don't really know anything about, being on drugs. I'm like, are we freaking him out? Is he okay? Like, is he receiving this? God, like, help him, like, please, like, just let something that somebody is praying speak to him. And then I remember we got done and we didn't really get that much of a response out of you because of your state, I think, but you were just appreciative. I know that. And then we got all in the car and we're just all of us were still praying, we're still mind blown. Like it hit us like a truck too. And that we saw you, because I'm telling you, you were so loved by us. Like I don't know if it's you, if it's just God's love for his children, if it's he wanting you to bring you out, but you were so loved by us. And we got in the car and we were still praying in the car, but you were outside of the car. Andrew gets out of the car. He's like 15 years old at the time, or
Yeah, yeah,
16. And he starts talking to you, and I think you started crying, or I don't
yeah.
know. It really seemed like he
Well,
broke
I
into
remember
you.
exactly what he told
It
me.
was about music, right?
He said, "I really do miss you coming by and rapping
Mm.
because you used to rap all the time over there. Because I would do these like Christian raps, you know, and like always try to get the insight because I wanted to know if like what I was rapping was what they were liking, you know."
Mhm.
And yeah, I mean that I mean it hit home. And like I mean when I prayed and God answered immediately. And that day I was I had one goal, right? One goal was to make it to church that day because it was a Tuesday night, right?
That day?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you guys asked me to come that night.
Mm.
So we did this whole runaround. Like when I went back, like I didn't even like it's like God didn't even allow me to get high because she had did whatever she did and she wasn't sharing.
Mm.
And then she wanted me to go to Target and steal something. And then it's like she just kept like putting me on these little runs that I'm like, okay, yeah, we're gonna go to Target. I'm gonna steal this thing for you so you can get high. Right. That day we walked all the way up OBT. She's not from here, so she had no I was like, yeah, I just took her on this big loop.
Mm. Mhm.
Like I'm like, yeah, we're gonna go to Walmart.
In church?
I was like, we're not gonna go to Target, we're gonna go to Walmart
Yeah.
because in Walmart you can get everything you need. In my mind, Walmart was like, we're gonna go to church because
Yeah.
you can get everything you need at church. Like church was my Walmart in my mind, but I was telling her Walmart,
Mhm.
right? And we did this big old loop around, and anybody who's from here to go from like where by OBT where the West Side Club is at,
Yeah.
all the way up OBT to about where that Super Target is, but right before it, I'd take a left and then go all the way over to John Young and then come all the way down. And by that time, it was already like right about when church was about to start. And we're like walking in, and like she's like, she hears music and then she sees Cynthia
Oh,
and
okay.
she like bolted like the other way, just like turned around and ran.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just praying the whole time. I'm like, God, please give me the strength to just leave this woman alone. Like, I don't want anything to do with her anymore. And yeah, I mean, when she turned around and ran, I guess Cynthia thought that she told me she thought that I was gonna turn around and run after her. I was like, I didn't care.
Mm.
I'm like,
So she was gone.
she was gone. She the the crazy thing about her, she came back like a couple of years later and got sober and then relapsed and then died.
Oh, wow.
So she died like 2 years ago.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
and I only know because one of her friends that we had a mutual friend. He called me and told me that she had died. And I mean, that's what happens to us, you know. We like I said earlier to I'm like I'm convinced that like there is no middle of the road for me. I'm like I've already been in the middle of the road literally, you know. Like where people were wanting me to, steal or get them stuff or that one of the guys was like, "We'll leave you in here stank." And then that's ghetto terms for we'll leave your dead body in here stinking
Mm.
for like, I guess because they wanted to have their way with that girl. And I'm like, man, and I'm like, do I really want to be around these people who don't give a shit about me?
Mhm.
And like what you're saying, like I'm so loved. Like I would rather be around my people who actually genuinely care and love me and like care about me, you know? And obviously I still have no idea what God wants to do in my life other than carry this message, bear witness to what he can do in my life, right? Like from that day, right? Everything, it was a complete 180.
Mm.
Turn around, faith, and like turn my will and life over to God. And immediately I got my job back, traveling the country. That's why he still didn't see me because God put me in different locations, like all throughout the United States. And like I was sponsoring people. Sponsorship in AA is basically taking somebody through the steps.
Mhm.
and I was sponsoring people in all different areas. That fire that you guys lit in me, I lit fires all over the United
Oh
States,
my god.
you know? And like I started meetings in different areas, St. Louis, Arizona, Idaho, Iowa, Delaware, Tennessee, California, 3 different cities in California. Um, um, yeah, New York, Maryland, Baltimore, Ohio.
Wow.
Man, God has allowed me to be a dad in my kid's life, you know? So I have 3 kids and he I have my my oldest and I have my youngest. I did have my middle child, but his mom came and took him back, which I'm taking her to court for as we speak. But I mean, I for my 4-year-old, I had to fight for him and got 50-50 for him. And I'm doing, I like, God gave me that job. I did all those things and I'm making like, I think I left that job making 76,000 a year. And I'm like, I need to quit this job. The guy told me you got to quit that job and be in your kids' lives. And I'm like, well, I'm making all this money. And God was like, is either like I gave you this, so I'm like, and I left that to go full head into my tattooing, and I saved up enough to get the car. And my first year, I dove in and like I had my highest, like I actually made more last year than I ever did with that other job. And I'm like, God can progressively, I'm like, obviously it's not about the material, but like I feel a whole lot more satisfied here because I get to continuously on a day-to-day basis go into these to rehab Park Place, be in my hometown where I was getting high and help people like, hey, I was in this hole. I know the way out, right?
Mhm.
I'm here and I genuinely care about you. And like I'll go times and I'll go periods where like I'll get frustrated with people who take their time and work these steps because I see people relapse and die. Like in the last 6.5 years, people in all across the country like have sat in my car out there and like I'm begging them to let me take them to a rehab or a whole hospital or something. And I'll drop the last person I dropped off at their mom's house, and the last thing he said was, "This area is not good for me. I just need a couple days off." And I gave it to him. And on my roster, the lady who does my roster, she put his funeral information on the day that he was supposed to come back. And I asked her when he died, and it was the same day that I dropped him off. And I was like, it killed me inside. I'm like, man, from that moment on, anybody, and I warned them, I'm like, if you call me and you're drunk or high, I'm taking you to the hospital. I don't care if you're drunk or high. I'm like, my day is ruined. Like, or it's, I can't say ruined, but it's in in my selfishness, it's ruined because like I can't do anything else now that I'm because I have been called. Like, this is what I'm here to do. If you call me, all right, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna take you. Just know you're going to the hospital, or I'm dropping her off there and I'm leaving. And they're gonna have to do with you, but I'm taking you there because I'd rather that happen than me leave you at some hotel room or leave you at your mom's or wherever I drop you off at, and then you die. Terry, like a year ago, I kind of got on him for taking his time working the steps because like I care about this guy. I seen him in that Park Place that we go together now as of late, but like we were had first watch, but the one up on in St. Cloud, and I'm like, motherfucker, you gotta do this third step. I forgot exactly what I was like. If you ain't doing the steps, you ain't sober. Or some shit like that, And he had got so pissed off, but I immediately made amends to him, and But yeah, I mean, I had to let him know, like, hey, I'm only like that because I care deeply, and like, I don't want to see any of us go down that. But obviously, either God has removed it or He hasn't, and I can only plant the seed, and I can only do as much as what God wants me to do, and I continuously try to do that every day. And I still, like, whenever I go to that first watch, I'm always like on the look for. I'm like, is Shelby here? You know, because I'm like, I'm gonna give her more than that 20% tip.
I really appreciate I saw what you left me today. You're
Yeah,
the
yeah.
best.
I'm always like, let me put 158% tip, 300% tip, or whatever. I'm just like, I don't even think of the number. I'm just like, what can I give today? You know, um, just because like what you guys did that day has blessed not only me but my kids, and has ricocheted into multiple different people's lives that day. You know, so like, I don't know like why I came and asked you today to come out, but I'm just like, hey, I need a normal person to come ask us questions, give us a perspective on what your views are, and just so everybody knows, yeah, we relapse is not a requirement, but it does happen, you know. And I will say that rarely have I seen anybody fail who has thoroughly followed the program, you
Mhm.
know, on a day-to-day continuous basis, do what they need to do in order for them to be rid of their selfishness and self-centeredness. And I always tell to like people who believe in Christianity, I'm like, God has a funny way of allowing us to see our selfishness and self-centeredness. But I always think of like people who don't struggle with alcoholism or drugs. I'm like, their life isn't on the line as much as it is for us. So like, we're better and worse off, because like, if I don't do this, I have very dire consequences, you know, which is, it's almost like I feel the absence of God more. I feel, and I
At what point, you mean?
huh?
At what point do you feel God less? Or
Whenever I'm not connected, whenever I'm not working the steps, I feel like, and I've came to this new conclusion that it's never disconnection from God. It's just unawareness, right?
Mm.
I always talk about this story about these fish. It's a it's a little parable that I heard someone else talk about. It's just my take on it. He says there's these two fish swimming in the sea, and then this crazy old wise fish with beautiful colors just comes up swimming like a hipster. Like, man, don't you just love the ocean? It's so wide, it's so vast, and everything about it is just how we're living today. It's just in and through us. It's every breath that we breathe. Don't you just love the ocean? Like, everything about it is just why I love life. And then he swims off just like singing some like Lion King song, you know?
Mhm.
And the two fish look at each other and say, hey, I think we gotta find this ocean that this man is talking about. Not knowing that the ocean is everything about, like, they're in the ocean, and
Right.
God is the ocean for us, right? God is my ocean, and it's never a disconnection from the ocean. It's just unawareness, you
Yeah.
know? So
Mhm.
it's either God is everything or He's nothing. What is my choice to be?
Right. He
Yeah,
tells us to meditate on his word. Like, we have to constantly bring it into our remembrance because sometimes it just doesn't come naturally. And we have to remember, we have to be aware. We have to bring it to our forefront. Seek first the kingdom, and everything will be added.
yeah. So how's your experience been in the last almost 3 years?
It's been good, no jail. The only time it was pointed out to me before I realized I was an alcoholic, my wife, she said, like, you never get in trouble unless you drink, like misdemeanors and going to jail, disorderly conducts. And but this last time I went to jail 3 years ago, I, they gave me 9 months, and so I had time to reflect. And then I finally, for the first time in my life, I said I'm probably an alcoholic. And so I went to treatment for the first time voluntarily because I've been to treatment before, but it was when my wife threatened me with the kids and divorce. So I tried to get sober for her, even though people said you can't get sober for her and your family. That's a great, we admire that, but they said you got to get sober for you. And I was really like, what they talking about? But I understood it once I went to Park Place, met guys like him. When I went on my own and I said, I'm gonna start paying attention to what they say in AA because I never tried AA before because I didn't think I was an alcoholic. I worked the same job for 20 years, so I always thought an alcoholic was somebody that was standing outside with the cardboard sign or asking for change when you come out of the store. So I thought them was alcoholics. I didn't think I was alcoholic if you pay your bills, go on big. But when I opened the book and when they gave me a book, when I started paying attention, and when you read in there and it says about you probably alcoholic if you can't stop when you want to. That's when it hit me like that's me because I thought about it. I'm like, yo, I ain't never stopped drinking when I started unless I was passed out. Uh, you know,
Something physically had to stop you.
Yeah, like, cause I never went to a bar. I just start recalling, like, when coworkers would say, "Hey, come out to drink with us," and I go out to drink. They say, "We're only going for a couple of drinks because we got to work in the morning," and they really mean it. They a couple. They drink 2 drinks or 1, and they say, "I'm out."
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I go with 10 people. I'm only 1 left
I'm like,
because they
a
all
couple of
9
I'm
of
like,
them
yo,
left.
we doing this?
Was what well, when you would go out, was the like was the function to drink for you, or was the function to be with your coworkers?
It was. I mean, I thought it was to be with them, but it was really actually to drink because
For you, it was to drink.
it was the drink because actually after I left bars after last call, I'll normally have something at the house already hitting and I still drink till like I passed out. Like it's like the saying like we say like one is too many. I mean
One is too many, a thousand's
there's
never enough.
enough, right? That's me. Like that first drink, I can't never have that first drink. Like I can't. Like my track record shows. Like when I had that first drink, I go back and I want more, and I want to drink till I pass out. So I always stayed. When I did go out to bars, I always stayed to last call. I never left early. I thought like, what was the point of going to a bar? Like my ex wife, she wasn't a drinker like that, so she can go to like say Ale House because she liked the mountain, the melts or whatever it's
Yeah.
called.
The zingers.
Yeah, and
Oh, the mountain melt.
zingers. Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Zinger
me
melt.
and when I go, I like their wings, but it really I want because when she say, "Oh yeah, let's go there," I would be like, "Yeah,"
You
but
want
that
ale.
wasn't the thing on my mind. Wasn't
Mhm.
the wings though? It was
Wasn't the
like, yeah, I can
food.
drink because I'm going to the
Cares
bar.
about the food.
Because I'm going to the bar. You know what I mean? And I always stayed, even though she only want to go there to get the food for real. I finagle my way in today I realized like, wow, like
Bro,
I'm
I,
like
I would like rather get fucked up than eat. I'm like,
yeah, that's what I used to do. But it be like I'd had people that like friends, like cousins and stuff, and that I went out and they'd be like, oh, they knew they was finna drink or when was finna drink, and they was like, "Yo, I gotta eat something." They be like, "What
Yeah.
you gonna eat?" I'm like, "Nah," because
it'll kill your buzz.
and I was like, "Yo," because then it's gonna take longer for the alcohol to
To
affect.
hit.
And
Yeah.
I didn't think. And they used to tell me, "Man, you probably got a problem." You know what I mean? And I used to be like, "Nah." You know what I mean?
I ain't got no problem drinking.
Because I was like a functioning alcohol. I was really a
Functioning.
functioning alcoholic. Like me working at the same job and for 20 years made me think like I can't be alcoholic because could I be working at the same job 20 years? But when I became a manager for the last 5 years of that, my drinking actually got worse. I'm going in on the days because I was the culinary manager. So at 6 a.m., I'm going in there with two of my trusted workers. I'm going sitting behind the bar, making drinks at 6 in the morning, drinking at 6 now. I'm drinking at 6, and then I carried that over into at home, drinking in the mornings. And then my wife, she'll wake up and be like, "You drinking in the morning?" And I tell her, "I'm off today." And she'll be like, she used to be like, "Yo, you got a serious problem." And then it got to a point that no matter, and she knew I paid a lot for the bottles, but she didn't care. She started pouring them out, so I had to hide them. And one time I tricked her. I said, "We need a," because I got 4 kids by, and I said, "We need a deep freezer." She said, "Okay, yeah, we do." And I'm like, "Cause all the food, it's 6 of us." And I got the deep freezer and I put it in the bedroom. And she's like, and she seen it and she's like, "Oh," she's like, "Why you put a deep freezer in the bedroom?" It was big too. And she said, and I said, "Cause I'm an alcoholic, man.
I'm gonna be
I,
hot at night.
I said, so the kids won't eat the ice cream and stuff out of it. They gotta come ask me." And she went for that. So I filled it up, with the meat and everything. And then I put my bottles. Cause I liked my 17.
You
But
want
it
that thing
cold.
ice
It
cold.
cold, cause liquor don't freeze.
Do you think that
Mhm.
she knew or
Yeah.
she didn't know? She was totally with the deep freezer in the bedroom.
Yeah, she believed it until she don't drink, and then she eventually come in there. I'm playing the game, and even though I had my cups behind the dresser, I've pulled the dresser out a little bit, had it. So
Mhm.
every once in a while, I'd go behind the dresser, drink, and then people that don't drink, they smell alcohol in a room. You know what I mean? They can open the door and be like, "What are you doing?" And then she'll start looking around. She'll check everywhere. And then she'd never find it. And then eventually she went into the freezer and found the liquor buried in there.
Hey, you gotta move this fridge.
And she was like, "Yo, you got," like, for years she told me like, "Yo, you got a problem." But she always thought, like, she didn't say go to no meetings. She used to just be like, "Quit." Like,
Man, just say no, like Nancy Reagan.
she's just like, "Think of me before you go to the liquor store," and things like that. Put pictures of the kids and things like that. None of that could stop. But the thing about this, when I on my own went and saw help and met these guys and started doing the work and getting a sponsor, the obsession to drink was lifted. So, like, I'm gonna say like a year, a little bit over a year and a half into my sobriety, she filed for divorce because, of course I was hurt, but I didn't have no by then, since the obsession to drink was lifted, it didn't cross my mind to drink. Like, my parents, she was always worried that, man, she your crutch every time you argue, you leave the house and you go drink. But by then, the obsession to drink and use was lifted. That I didn't have no desire. Yeah, I was hurt and crushed, but and I was like, "Oh, well, how can you do me like this?" But I end up understanding when she told me, like, and I had to look at it from her point of view too, as well.
So your kids still live out there? Where?
No, my
Where they,
kids live no, my kids is from here. I was in
oh, they
Florida.
live here?
Yeah.
Oh, so you see them?
Yeah. I mean, I was talking, this is the thing. She get,
How
she,
old are
she
they?
my oldest is 22.
Oh, okay.
My daughter's 19. And then I got my 16-year-old son. He turned 16 in October. And then my youngest is 13 years old. So I
Okay.
got 3 boys and a daughter by her. And my littlest ones, I just got to talk to them up until like a month ago, because she often she ain't I mean, she
Bro,
just like
sometimes
she
it takes time, man.
yeah, I know. That's why I don't let it get today. I don't let them think, yeah, it bothers me, but it don't get me to that point, because I had to, like, really see, like, what she said, she still bring up like, "Oh, you remember when you did 13 months not drinking?" Yeah, it was a miserable 13 months. I quit because she took the kids and hauled ass to Lakeland
Yeah.
with her to her sister's house, and so yeah, I thought I was saving my marriage by so quote unquote being sober, but
Yeah, I
that
mean,
willpower didn't work. You know what I
bro, I
mean?
didn't have my kids immediately back in not until my 3.5 year.
So
So,
yeah.
Can I ask a question?
yeah, and that's why you're here.
Yes.
So how does it like how does one relate to the other? Like being like what about being not sober makes you not see your kids, or maybe I
What
should ask a different
wait,
question.
wait, what about being sober
No,
or
because I'm trying to I see how like how like why is there an issue seeing your kids?
We got shared custody. The thing is, she know how I feel about like the police, like court issues involved. I don't want to be that person, right? So the thing is, I ain't gonna really do. I'm like hoping like she see like I'm really like she seemed like I don't think at first she thought I was gonna be sober this long because like we've
so
been
you don't want to involve the court?
mess. I mean, one time I did go to court and the judge said I had to go on the second floor. I went there because it was when I first moved in Oxford, and she went and wasn't letting me see the kids because when I was at Res 4, the kids actually used to come over. My two little
Yeah.
ones spent the night and everything. So she felt like, oh, when I relapsed and all this stuff happened, she felt like this is all. She told me, "You're gonna always drink." And today I understood why she said that, because if a person drank
For 30 years.
for 20 years with
For
her,
20 years.
like 20 years
You have
in
way
marriage,
she has way too much experience you drinking than
so
That's
not.
the pattern, yeah.
Yeah.
so in her eyes, I don't think, and I can believe that.
So is it the drinking and her not agreeing with the drinking, or is it your behavior when you're
Yeah,
drinking that she's not
yeah, I
agreeing with?
wasn't a violent person. I just was like, but she once told me this as well. She said, sometimes I think I'd rather you should have been an abusive husband. And I was like, what the hell? And she said, because the the shit you say out your mouth is way worse and it stays with me
Mm.
versus getting hit and that can go away
So you're
physically.
verbally abusive.
I was verbally abusive and this honest
You
program.
cut you cut deep.
I did my cheating when I was drunk. You know, when I was sober, I was a manager and I wore my wedding ring proudly. But I never when women
Did
at my job
but
used to
whenever
flirt
you
with me, I used to never be like, yo, you know I'm married. But when I got a couple of drinks,
slip
th- I,
that thing
I
off,
thought like none of like I got into I don't care mode. It
Yeah.
got to a point like, twice in my drinking I didn't come home. Like and one of the times she filed a missing persons report, it was the very first time I didn't come home for 2 days because like she told the police, I know my husband is dead because he has never once
Mhm.
in our marriage, no matter how drunk he ain't got, never not came home. But the book tells me it gets worse, never better when you go back out there and drink. And that's what happened to me.
Yeah.
And so I understand from everything I put her through, I can understand why she ain't gonna just forgive me after 3 years. Like she told me one time after she filed for divorce, and she said, "You, how many times would you say in our marriage you said you was gonna quit?" And I was like, "I don't know." She said, "Okay, 1,000 times." And I said, "Yeah." And so she said, "Why the fuck should I believe you on 1,001 time then?" And she told me that, and I understood that. I just sat there and like she
yeah.
kind of like right in her opinion is valid of how she feel. Like she got a right to her opinion. You know what I mean? And
I mean, that's just logical at that point.
so
Yeah.
so
Yeah, any normal person would think like
so
yeah,
because she done for one she
like
don't
still to this day my mom she's like if I'm going out or I'm gonna be at a party or something like that, she's like, "Is there gonna be alcohol there?" I'm like, "You know, I never really had a problem with alcohol like that." I'm like, "Is there gonna be any crack over there?" That's what you should be asking,
Mm.
not alcohol.
And she don't think it's alcohol is a disease anyway. She told me that was an excuse. She said, I'm gonna tell you, because she tried to compare it to her mother dying of heart disease. She said, my mother died of heart disease. That's a real disease. She said, my mother didn't get to choose
Yeah.
to have heart disease.
And you think that it's a disease.
I know it's an allergy, a disease. It was.
So look, if it wasn't a disease,
I can just.
No,
then
I know it's
yeah,
toxic. I know it's poison. I know it's spiritual.
yeah.
I
So
mean, I see things more with I see like
yeah,
mostly everything with spiritual eyes.
yeah. So like, even if it wasn't like a quote unquote like medically determined disease,
Hmm.
right? If you split the word up, disease, it's a dis-ease.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? We had the dis-ease of the spirit, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's medically determined that because of not only the allergy, like it's medically proven that we have an allergy. Like our bodies don't like we don't digest certain things the same way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then we have an OCD, right? The obsession compulsion. They don't the doctors, they don't dabble in the spiritual aspect, right? So they don't talk about that. They only talk about the physical and mental,
Yeah.
right? So then anything past that is so I'm gonna bring you to, it's actually a page, it's actually called The Doctor's Opinion, right? And it says how he crossed out men and women and said he put Terry. It says we believe, and so suggested in a few years ago, that the action of alcohol on these chronic alcoholics is a manifestation of an allergy. That phenomenon, the craving, is limited to this class and never occurs in the average tempered drinker. These allergic types can never safely use alcohol in any form at all. And once having formed a habit and found they cannot break it, once having lost their self confidence, their reliance upon things human, their problems pile up on them and become astonishingly difficult to solve. I love how he emphasizes that their problems, like, he's not even talking about alcohol. So a lot of people think that we have a drug problem, that we have a drug or alcohol problem.
Yeah.
I have a alcohol solution.
Exactly. That's what I am more interested in, to be honest, because I know that the root of it is more important. And if you can really like dissect that, and
Mm.
then it brings forth a lot of healing beyond like, because if you're sober, you can say you've experienced healing from your addiction, but then there's still so much more that
Yeah.
you need healing from.
Yeah. So like, I want to bring us to, I'm gonna read this one part where it says selfishness and self-centeredness, that we think is the root of our troubles. Driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Sometimes they hurt us, and seemingly without provocation, but we invariably find that at some time in the past we have made decisions based on self, which later placed us in a position to be hurt. So our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. They arise out of ourselves, and they're talking about everybody there. Now they're gonna, right here they're talking about the alcoholic, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self will run right. So n- the the first step is I'm powerless. How am I powerless? I'm allergic. Okay, scratch that. All right, I'm allergic. And you know a person who's allergic? Stop eating peanuts if you're allergic to peanuts. I can't manage my life without peanuts though, because I keep going back to it, right? My mind brings me back to the thing that I'm allergic to. So in that respect, I can't manage my life.
But realistically, okay,
So like in Christianity, how do you get somebody to turn their will and life over to Jesus? They have to first admit powerlessness, right?
no,
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 they don't.
no. In fact, they realize, or if even before
Like,
Christ, they can realize, you know what? I am somebody. I am powerful. And I think that if you say that you're powerless, which is false. One, it's false.
So like you of yourself
You
without
can
God. That's what I'm saying.
without God.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Without
You without God.
the thing is even people without God, they're successful people without God.
Yeah. But that I'm not saying successful, I'm saying powerless. Right? Like maybe that's like a completely different topic, but
No, I think that I had something and it kind of left my mind, but
cuz
cuz for example, like a lot of people come to Christ cuz they realize there's something more than themselves. There's like
yeah.
I can't possibly be this person in this world and not fulfill it or not, not know what's more or what's next. Like there has to be something more, and then they find Jesus that way because I mean, that's who created them, God.
Yeah.
So they come to themselves like,
And you can just do that naturally?
I mean, that's what points me back to God a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I have knowledge of Christ,
Yeah.
so
So like
I
there
but I have a deep belief that that I'm not powerless.
yeah. Well, I don't believe I'm powerless. I believe that when I when I'm disconnected, or I would say, I mean, my belief has evolved so much today. It's really hard to for me to say that I believe that I'm powerless anymore, because
Mhm.
um
Even
just in that respect, right? That's why in addiction and alcohol, when we say powerless, we're solely talking about whenever I consume a certain substance. So like if somebody's allergic, that's why I keep saying peanuts. If somebody is allergic to peanuts, they have no power over how much their
how
body's
to
gonna swell,
react,
the
right?
reaction.
What I was trying to talk about was when you said like, well, that that they need peanuts. Like nobody who is allergic to peanuts feels like they need peanuts.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. I mean, that's why we're crazy. Because
no,
people,
but that's why I think it's deeper
yeah,
because
yeah.
something has to come up where
Yeah.
you're coping with whatever comes up out of
Yeah.
you
So
is
then
saying, you know what, mm, my vice, my alcohol, or
yeah, yeah. So then it says right here, though our decision was a vital and crucial step, which is the decision to turn our will and life over to the care of God.
mhm.
It could have little permanent effect unless at once followed by a strenuous effort to face and be rid of the things which in ourselves which had been blocking us. Our liquor was but a symptom, so we had to get down to causes and conditions.
Okay.
So you're right.
Yeah.
So like that's why in AA, like the first part of it of like, okay, yeah, you're powerless, yeah, like we get people on board with that.
Well,
Okay, yeah, your mind is, you're
because
crazy.
that's where you are
Yeah,
when
that's
you
where we
come,
are. We had a
and you
meeting.
have to meet them where they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once they're convinced,
Yeah.
and then they're like, okay, I come to believe in whatever is working in you
Yeah.
will work in me. And I'm like, okay, so you got to do the third step prayer. And God, I offer myself to you to build with me, to do with me as you want. Relieve me in the bondage of self that I may better do your will. Take away my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help of your power, your love, and your way of life. May I do your will always. We say that prayer out loud, and then we go into seeing what's blocking us from God, and it's our selfishness. And it always goes to
But what if
resentment.
is it always selfishness for everyone? Because there's a
S-
lot of people who
For alcoholics and drug addicts, yes. For
but
us,
but but why are they selfish?
I mean, it varies.
Right. So that's why I think that
So we go to,
it's
why are they selfish? To me, it's kind
because
of,
I feel like if you can assess like on an individual basis.
so
Yeah.
how, what we do is we look at its common manifestations. Resentment is another, it says, Resentment is the number one offender. It destroys more alcoholics than anything else. From it stems from all forms of spiritual disease. For we have not only been mentally and physically ill, we have been spiritually sick. When the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. In dealing with resentments, we set them on paper. So we're thinking about the anger, the disturbances in our spirit, anything that disturbs us, we write them down. We do an inventory,
Yeah, that's
right?
good.
So we do the inventory and then we pray. We do a sick man prayer, right? God, help me show them the same tolerance, pity, and patience I would cheerfully grant a sick friend. God, save me from being angry. How could I be of service to this person? And I have to say this to every person that ever pisses me off.
Yeah, I have my um
Do you have a prayer like that?
yeah, it's in Ephesians 4 and it's be angry and sin not.
What? Be
Be
angry?
angry and sin not.
What's that mean?
It means you can be angry,
Uh,
just don't sin.
yeah, I don't have that luxury.
And
That's
there's
a luxury. Yo,
there's
you could be angry?
Do be is like
so there's a difference between being angry and wrath.
Yeah, yeah. So you have like a
So
righteous anger, right?
no,
No?
no, no, a regular anger that makes me want to sin.
Oh,
And
okay.
and so there's a difference though between angry and wrath. So angry is something natural, it's an emotion like sadness,
Yeah, yeah,
happiness,
yeah.
but wrath is when it's like the next level. It's like it eats at you and it drives you
Well,
and
we're built on wrath.
right. So you're probably quick temp, but not only like it's intense. It's just way more intense. And so there's another verse in James and honestly the Bible is what does it for me.
Yeah.
And so it says be slow.
To anger.
Yes, the whole verse is be
Like, come
quick
on, look
to
it up. Look.
be quick to listen, be slow to speak, be slow to anger, because be slow to wrath, because wrath does not produce the righteousness of God.
Hmm.
And the Bible also says we are the righteousness of God. So it is not of our nature to be wrathful. So if you just believe that you are just if you believe that you are a wrathful person, you're not. You weren't created to be like that.
Yeah.
So there's something needs to be dealt with. There's maybe unforgiveness, there's maybe resentment,
Yeah.
and a lot of people don't really dive deep into
Yeah.
what intensifies them because that intensity is not natural. Something usually happens to somebody, like you're a victim of something, and because your victimhood never got addressed, now you stay. Now it's become your character and your identity, but you're not a victim. You're not powerless. Like
Yeah.
something happened or you felt some type of way and it ate at you. And so
I'm not responsible for what happened, but I am responsible for my recovery.
right,
Yeah.
but that's like A to Z. Now what happens in between? Like how do you go from what happened to you to recovery? That's a lot that's the process.
Yeah.
And I think that's the reason why people just cope with the process. And I think that's why they end up, you know, addicted because they just know how to cope. They don't know how to get from A to Z because there's
Yeah.
not a lot of
There's
one
no clear-cut directions.
there's no clear cut directions. There's not a lot of resources. It's hard to be vulnerable. The community is lacking.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not surrounded by people who are trying to do better, who are getting from A to Z as well, like,
But
then
that's another reason why I'm creating this community.
yeah.
I want to create a community or like a safe space for everybody to come here and be like, hey, even though I may not struggle with addiction, I may struggle with sin in this way, right? So like the longer I stay in recovery, the more and more sensitive I become to my defects, like the defects of character. And for me, it's like, okay, I may not relapse on a drug, but I can relapse on some cookies, or I can relapse on some lust, or I can
Yeah, there's
relapse,
7 deadly sins.
yeah, yeah,
That's a lot of
yeah,
things you could be
I
doing.
relapse on every single one of them, you know, um, throughout the week,
Mhm.
and for me, it's like it'll take me down this like rabbit hole of different variations of sin, but then like I'm like, I don't want to be a slave to anything
Yeah.
anymore,
Yeah, like,
like
everything has become a mask for what's really going on.
yeah, and it's really hard for me to complete, like, in the moment, completely, like, turn. I'm like, in the moment, I'm like, God, I need you. God, I need, give me the power, to give me the strength. And like, when it, the more I shed light on it and the more I share about it, the more I talk to other people about it, I'm like, hey, yeah, I made these mistakes too. And the more willing I become to allow God into that area of my life and allow God to do those things for me that I can't do. Like, like when you say, yeah, I am like I'm not powerless. I, I mean, man, I want you back with my pastor, because he tells me like how these principles align with Christianity. How like when you when getting people to come to the gospel, right, is trying to get people to realize that themselves, like, will always be powerless without God. They would always fall short of the glory. They would
Eventually, but
always.
the thing is about power is
But
that
then when
it
we allowed God, God's doing it for us, right? So we have the access,
and
right?
that's the right way. That's
Yeah.
the only way that brings life and it's like life abundantly.
Yeah.
But there's a way to have power that is not, and it's true. It's powerful. Like the kingdom of darkness is the kingdom of darkness and the kingdom of light. It's powerful. The kingdom of darkness is powerful. And that's a really dark reality, but a lot of people become powerful in the kingdom of darkness. And
Yeah.
so you the we're not I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah.
it's a little contradictory for me to probably be saying this,
Yeah.
but that's not the kind of power that you want because that power leads to death.
Yeah, yeah.
Sin at
And
full grown leads to death. And so you're going to be powerful, but not in the way that you really, truly.
yeah, you're gonna be powerful in a very selfish and self-centered way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there is no light without darkness, right? We need all of the polar opposites of everything for life to exist. And there you lost me. I'm like, man, that's why there's a lot of different rabbit holes I can go down, but this keeps me focused, right? It keeps me on like I don't have to go to college to have a spiritual experience. I can
Mhm.
be very simple, like, oh, I'm just disturbed at this person. I can write this person down, what caused it, what it affected in me. I can pray for them. And then I could look at my mistakes. Where was I dishonest, selfish, self seeking, or frightened? And then I look at my fears, and I think of my fears as fear is the word of God, is God's voice for me. God is saying, be scared because you're not relying on me anymore. And whenever I was relying on me, on Axel, man, it led me to wanting to commit suicide. It led me to homelessness. It led me to addiction. And yes, I should be scared, because whenever Axel was, you know, driving the horse or driving the taxi, it's it leads to all these destructive patterns.
Mhm.
So I know today that my fears, and whenever I'm quote unquote doing God's will,
Mhm.
I'm full of fear,
Mhm.
right? And it looks like anger. Sometimes like it's quick, like somebody cut me off in an instant. I'm like, I want to race up and cut them off. But in my mind, I'm like, if that person hit me, okay, I'm not gonna have a car. I'm not gonna have a place to live.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna have my kids. Nobody's gonna like me, and I'm gonna be alone, right? So
Do you have
then,
to go through all of that in order to not do it?
uh, no, it's in my mind. It happens in a split second,
Yeah.
But I'm giving you guys the breakdown of what my mind thinks. I'm like, oh, so in this moment of fear, I'm agnostic. Because I'm gonna turn to something else other than God in this moment. I'm or either gonna turn to myself, my selfish needs, or I'm gonna humbly rely on God.
Yeah.
And if I don't humbly rely on God, and I hate that term, I humbled myself. I'm like, no, I don't humble myself. I either get humbled or I get humiliated, by my own actions.
Mhm.
So Yeah. What?
No, nothing.
No, say
Um, do you have a hard time, like, just trusting, like, to do what is right? Or do you always have to go through, like, a thought process in order to do what is right? Do you have to weigh out your pros and cons before you choose what to do? Or do you ever just think, "You know what? God would want me to do this, so Imma just do that."
For the most part, it's been like that the second part where God wants me to do this. God wants me to do that. I'm
Yeah.
not out like this is the program is to reprogram my thinking,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, yeah.
It's to reverse engineer everything I've ever thought is to debunk any myths that any truths that I cling on to,
Mhm.
and it gives me an open mind and it steers me like I never know exactly which way I'm supposed to go or what I'm supposed to do, but I just live in a way to where whenever I sense fear, right, I know I shouldn't be doing that,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So then I do something else other than the thing that makes me sense fear,
Yeah.
you
Like
know?
the fear of God, yeah.
Yeah, so uh I've had a lot of different circumstances where whenever I ignored that fear and then I hurt somebody, and not like literally hurt somebody because like I haven't gotten in a fight or anything
Mhm.
since I've been in recovery, but emotionally and mentally I've hurt people.
That's what I mean by the power. Like,
Yeah,
you always had power,
yeah.
it just wasn't for
So like
good.
what's so crazy? Whenever I'm drawing, I draw everything like I like dr- tattooing color and I like painting and I'm but it's been I'm I've become so good at it now because I've been practicing and it doesn't come natural to make something so whimsical and so like full of life, right?
Mhm.
But whenever I'm tattooing anything that people they come to me with some like, I want this gothic, dark, I want this to look like that. And I'm like, that shit, I can just like pump it out like just natural. I'm just like, I did this sleeve on one of my friends in recovery. Like I did it freehand and it looks raw. I'm just like, he's like, how did you do that? I'm just like, it just came out of me. I'm just like, I draw that crazy gothic dark shit just naturally, like um for me it feels like you ever see that movie with Adam Sandler? He's like Mr. Nicky, like what is it? Have you seen Nicky? He's like his mom is an angel and his dad's the devil.
I don't think I seen it.
You never seen that? Where like he's like really sucks at being bad because he's like he gets sent to Earth, but it's I bring that up because it's like he naturally sucks at being bad, you know, and
Mm.
then like he's really good at being good,
Okay.
so like
That's cool.
so like b- the longer I've been in recovery, I'm like the opposite. I'm really good at being bad,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of work for me to be good, you
That's how
know.
you feel.
That's how I felt, but like that's how I felt,
Yeah.
right? But since I mean now it's almost like
The opposite.
it's the opposite. Like I'm
Yeah.
really good at being good,
And there's a reason for that.
you know.
It's because you're in alignment, and that's
Yeah,
exactly, like, that's what you were created to be. You're created to be to do good works.
yeah. But I can still do that crazy dark shit really nasty, like
Mhm.
like really naturally, and it's like it's still in me, you
Mhm.
know. But
I'm just listening.
you're just listening,
Yeah.
you tuning in.
You
But yeah,
stepped out when we were talking about your story.
it's
Oh,
like we were talking about. He's like, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, you left.
so no,
You
no.
had a bathroom break?
Yes.
Yeah,
And Rich had texted me. Oh, I shouldn't say nobody's name.
I mean we can bleep him out. So like technically we're
You're
like
not supposed to talk
we
about people.
we have traditions and like
Mm,
we're technically not supposed to name anybody by first and last name.
Mhm.
So I mean we're anonymous, we're not anonymous amongst ourselves, but since like we're not the author of this, and they the reason why they don't want people to come out and be like, hey, I'm sober because of AA or whatever, because like anybody could relapse, you know? And
Yeah.
like I'm here to just shed light on recovery and the gravity of our situation. I'm not here to be like, hey, this is the only way. I'm also not here to be like, hey, I'm gonna be sober to the day I die. No, like I tell people, even if like I tell whenever I go to the rehabs, I say I am convinced that today I will get drunk or today I will get high if I don't do this, right? So I need to do this. And even if that, like, there's no promise, right? The only thing that I can promise is that, well, I can't really promise anything, right? Because I'm not God.
So do you
I can bear witness to what
wake
God
up
has done.
and you're like, I'm not drinking today.
Yeah, I mean, look, for for the last 6.5 years, I haven't like I don't wake up like struggling like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like fucking shaking in my boots,
Yeah, because
you know?
that's the
Like
thing.
the obsession is
By
removed.
removed. By the
Like
time
like you
you get into like I know some
So
people.
look, there's a promise in here in this book, all right? And
You-
this is a promise you should probably want to know. It says, "We have ceased fighting anything or anyone, even alcohol, for by this time sanity will have returned. We will seldom be interested in liquor. If tempted, we recoil from it as from a hot flame. We
So
react sanely and normally. We will find that this has happened automatically. We will see that our new attitude toward liquor has been given us without any thought or effort on our part. It just comes. That is the miracle of it. We are not fighting it, neither are we avoiding temptation. We feel as though we have been placed in a position of neutrality, safe and protected. We have not even sworn off. Instead, the problem has been removed. It does not even exist for us. We are neither cocky nor are we afraid. That is our experience. That is how we react so long as we keep in fit spiritual condition."
that's it. And that's the main thing. You gotta stay in fit spiritual condition. Like I ain't stop. I'm a cook and I work at a sports bar, BJ's Brew House, and they brew their own beer. Beer wasn't my thing anyway, even though I'm alcoholic. But the whole point is
Like,
like
I don't need that beer.
they do testing drinks and that because they make drink like every couple of months they change their menu and they actually drink at work
Mm-hmm.
because
To
they
try
give
it.
that like in the GM they make drinks and they don't offer me none because ever since I was there I've been there 4.5 years. So when I went to rehab I told them just like when I went to jail for 9 months and they say hey that's good because I used to come to work drunk
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, right?
Mhm.
So when I told them like I'm trying to stop drinking, I'm going to rehab, and then I get out, they say, hey, whenever you get out, come back to work, you always got a job with us. So not they never offer me drinks. Like they know my anniversary, God willing, is coming up December 28th. And I'm gonna be off for it, for the celebration. And they always say, "Damn, you came a long way." And they know like I do service work, and because I tell them like certain days I need off because of the things I need to do. And I gotta do them things and stay spiritually fit, or I will wake up and decide today is a good day to drink. It can
Mm.
just happen.
Mm-hmm.
It can just because I'm an alcoholic, so I can forget all this stuff I did if I can stop doing it.
We can rephrase it like you're a recovered alcoholic
Yeah, and
because you recover from the seemingly hopeless state of
yeah.
mind and body. I'm a
So
recovered drug addict alcoholic. Recovered with a hard ED. Recovered.
so I
You
gotta
know.
continue to do this if I wanna stay spiritually fit. Like, yeah, I don't think about alcohol. I see it all the time. It don't even cross my mind like that. It's funny because I see people drinking or smelling like alcohol, and
It doesn't
what it
even
does,
attract you, right?
it actually
It's
say,
unattractive.
"Damn." I'm like, "Damn." I'm glad I see it now and like, "Damn, I wish." I mean, I feel like I'm glad I don't drink. I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm not that person.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because some people, I be in my head. I don't tell them that. I be like, Motherfucker, I was alcoholic, and I can see like you're probably alcoholic too. They coming to work drinking,
Mm.
Yeah.
Leaving drink. I gotta get irritated that it's almost 2 a.m. And they need to get liquor. I remember all them kind of
Yeah.
things, right? But that again ain't gonna keep me sober though. Like
Yeah.
I gotta continue to do this, do this work, and long as I'm doing that, waking up, praying to God, and keeping God is the reason that I'm sober, and with the help of this program and this fellowship, then I won't have that desire. That's why I say rarely has a person's failed that follow these steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what I have to do if
Mm.
I want to remain sober. Because I remember after 13 months of being white knuckling it because of fear of my wife leaving, of just going into the liquor store one day, deciding to buy one shot, drinking it, and going back in and buying a half a gallon, and then going missing for 2 days. You know what I mean? I remember all that, but that in itself ain't gonna keep me sober either
Yeah.
because once it come back, that 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 switch flip, and I decide I can drink normal and responsible,
How's your
then
dad doing now?
Wow. So he got into a motorcycle accident and he is paraplegic now. So he's in a wheelchair
Is he still on pills?
and he's still on pills. He's not on the same stuff. So, I mean, it's a little better, but now it's like he
Do you
really needs that.
do you take care of him?
So I did take care of him for like about a year as soon as he got hit, and I dropped everything and went to Tennessee and took care of him, and then I brought him down here and then it didn't work out.
Is that where you're from? Tennessee?
No,
Oh.
that's just where he was living at the time because
Oh.
my brother's was stationed up there in the army. So now he's still here. He's doesn't have function really. I mean, who knows? He could walk one day if he had great physical therapy, but he's in a wheelchair, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so he's taking pills for the pain and etc. It was opioids, and
Yeah.
it started off because of a bike accident. It started off
Mm.
because for him it was thrill. Like I think he's just always chasing the feeling of
So
thrill and
when you say paraplegic, okay, I'm thinking I don't know too
paralyzed.
he's just paralyzed.
Paralyzed from the waist down. So he
Okay.
broke his back, and your spine is like
Yeah.
each part of your spine, where the cord is,
Yeah.
it
I'm like, man, I gotta crack my back.
it contributes, like it goes like this. So if
Yeah.
you break this, like if you break a part here
Can he move his arms?
in your spinal cord, then it would paralyze from the waist down. If you broke like this, it could paralyze your whole head. If you broke this, it could paralyze your top. Like so
Mm.
the spinal cord controls different
Yeah,
parts
yeah,
of your body. And so he broke a part of his spine that the bone bursted, hit his spinal cord, and that part of the spinal cord controlled his legs. So he only has like control of like one part of his leg, and the rest of it was basically numb. But it's been coming back because your body heals, like your spinal cord can heal.
yeah.
But he's still in a wheelchair. He is incontinent. He has a tube here so that he pees through it.
Yeah.
But um but yeah, I started from just being reckless and just being reckless on a motorcycle and a bike, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, and got into like a big crash. He came home, I was probably like 7. He was like all bloody. And it's like he was doing that every weekend. And I would always pray. Like I just knew one day it would be really bad. But since that moment, then he started taking opioids and never stopped. And it was like he was like a zombie all the time. Couldn't even talk to my dad. He was just it was bad.
Mm.
And then that led to my parents' divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be praying for him.
Thanks.
Yeah, he lives
He
here?
lives in Tennessee now. I
Okay.
took him back up this year, like a couple months ago,
Yeah.
because him and I 'cause there's a whole spiritual side of it, and it just wasn't working out
Yeah.
with me. It just wasn't clicking. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, how much should I talk?
You could say as much as you want.
Because I really believe that it invites spirits in when you were
Yeah.
taking substances, that, it opens doors and brings different spirits in. It's basically like allowance, and then, man, I've seen things
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I mean, although I don't write those things off, I don't give those things any power. So like I always know that like, oh yeah, the biggest trick that the devil's ever um done was to get people to believe that he doesn't exist or whatever. And I'm like, that may be true, but even though I'd rather take responsibility. You know, like although demons or dark spirits or whatever inviting certain things may be true,
Mhm.
I'd rather be like, okay, I still need to take responsibility because if I take responsibility, then it gives me the power to like let God enter into that area, right? So, yet I don't write, and I'm open minded to those things, like, and I believe those different spirits or whatever could, take over somebody, right? I don't like to, in my mind, believe that that exists, right?
What doesn't exist?
Like, like the devil or different spirits or
So do you believe in the devil?
no, I believe in God.
So you don't believe that you
I
don't
I believe that the devil is insanity. It's my insanity, right? So like although like you want to call it the devil, then it's the devil, my insanity. But like
No,
um
I'm not talking about you.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So
so like an outside force or
you're
something.
you, yeah.
Yeah.
God is an outside force. He's supreme.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
the all-knowing, omniscient, omnipresent. He's above all. He created everything, me, you,
Yeah.
everything. He
So like
created devil.
and the devil is a lower power, right? So why would I believe in the lower power? Why would I even give like should like even know that like I'm like who cares if they exist or not? Like I don't pay any attention to that because I know what who has all power and
Do
what
you
will
think
always conquer.
do you think like believing in the devil is something scary?
Mm,
Something that you don't even want to.
I don't think it's something scary. I just to me it doesn't have any significance.
But what if you okay, so imagine it was real.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm open minded to it being real. So yeah.
Then it would really um it would really
It'll be certain like it'll serve a purpose or something.
yes. Like,
Okay, what would be the purpose?
well, I mean, I do you think that all the evil in the world is because God? Because if God is the only thing that
Mm,
exists, then you're telling me that there's
no,
this,
I
that,
believe
and the
that
third
it's
because
in.
of God?
I think that all the evil is just plain insanity, and like if the devil isn't like, think of okay, yeah, the devil exists, okay, and to go from being in a position that the devil was in, right, to wanting anything more than that is just plain insanity, right?
To wanting any what do you mean to wanting to anything more than that?
So like the devil wanted to be God, right?
The devil was he was a glorious
Angel that
yeah.
wanted to be God, right?
He was stricken with pride, like, he had a lot of pride. The
Yeah,
pride comes from
thought he was better than God.
he's he knows he's not better than God,
No,
but
okay.
he desires to be worshipped
Like God.
like God.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, he was the orchestrator, he was the master musician in heaven,
Mhm.
and so he was sent to earth, and now this is his territory. And so he has a place, this is his place. God is in heaven. Everything is God's, but this is his territory where he's allowed to be.
Mhm. So this is hell then.
No,
Oh.
No. This
I
is
thought
Earth. This is
I was
Earth.
like, I thought we were living in hell. I
This
mean,
is Earth.
I was living in
There's a
hell.
place there's a place for the devil, and he
Yeah,
will go there, and people will go there with him.
yeah,
But this is Earth. This is where the kingdom of light and dark, this is
yeah.
where they both reside.
So what?
Because to say that
Yeah.
he
What?
doesn't is saying like all this evil, like no,
Well,
there's definitely evil here.
yeah, yeah. Well, I get that. I just know that for me to cope with my reality, right, and
Mhm.
and the reality of my life and everything that I've ever experienced, I can say that whenever I was in addiction,
To blame yourself for all of those evil things that may have came out of you or happened to you is really putting a lot of responsibility on yourself that you were never you shouldn't have to bear that. That's
yeah,
not how if you didn't ask for you didn't for one, you didn't ask to be here. You didn't create yourself. So
yeah,
how can all of that come out of you?
mm,
Like you are not evil. You are you. You are everything that God says that you are.
yeah. I mean, I understand.
He didn't create you selfish. I understand, like,
Yeah,
he didn't create you that way, though. There's outside forces. There's something called nature and nurture in psychology.
yeah,
And nature is how and nature and nurture basically makes up your personality.
yeah.
And some of it is by your nature. That's how God created you. And some of it is because of your environment.
Okay.
And a lot of those things, if they're bad, then you can be a bad person, but it's not because you were born that way. It's not because of nature, it's because of nurture. It was your environment, it was your parents neglecting. It was the people that you were hanging out in middle school and high school that formed, your young adulthood. Like
Yeah,
there's nature and nurture. And you definitely I mean,
yeah, yeah. I mean, thank you for all that. I just I'm just telling you, like, with my experience, like, the reason why I believed that way for so long, for most of my recovery, was just because, like, it allowed me to take responsibility and then realize that that's just who I was without God, right?
mhm, mhm,
And then it allowed me to be like, okay, I accepted that, and I'm like, okay, so now let me see. So let's say my insanity is the devil. That's just who I was without God and living on like whatever the devil, right? I also um now I'm like, okay, now let me see what I can do with God, right? This is who I am with God. That's who I was without God.
mhm,
This is who I am with God,
mhm,
right? So it just allowed me, I mean, yeah, I don't want to write anything off as not being real, not being real.
mhm,
I don't like I don't not believe, but I don't also give any attention to
mhm,
that, just because to me it's insignificant to what God can do in my life and what God has done in my life. Right? So uh
mhm.
I think that like there's a lot of different people that like are on the fence with the devil made me do it or the devil didn't make me do it. I'm like with for those people, I'm like, okay, I get it. Let's just say the devil never existed, right? For a second, let's put that on the shelf. What you said, and let's just say, all right, it's just you and God, right? It's me and God, and then my insanity. So
Well, what do you mean your insanity?
my insanity, like,
It's
um,
you and God and your insanity.
yeah, like, if God is sane, right,
You're in your right mind.
the right
He
mind,
has given you
and
a
if I'm not with God, I'm in insanity. I'm believing in my own
but
insanity.
how does that process work? Like, what do you mean?
Um, I know it's really hard to
So okay, I'm
eh,
coming from a position I didn't grow up in church.
yeah, yeah,
I didn't both of my parents still don't believe in God
yeah,
like that. They don't believe in anything.
yeah,
So, I grew up
and I believe that's insane. So
so, I mean, but don't you think also But you don't believe in
So,
the
I mean,
dark part.
well, yeah, I do believe that there is darkness. Yes.
Okay. You just
Yeah.
don't wanna label it the devil
Yeah. I just don't want
or
to label it the
Satan
devil
or
or and like
the kingdom of darkness?
yeah, yeah. I just because there's a lot of stigmas on that too. You know.
Are you just afraid of being stigmatized?
I mean, well, kind of on that part
Because my
because
thing is there's power in the knowledge of it, and I
because
don't think that you should dwell on any of those things, but
yeah,
there's
yeah,
power in knowing
Yeah.
because it's that kingdom is powerful. You don't know what's going on right now, like,
yeah.
the state of the world, and anyways.
So no, I think that's great because like maybe I need to take that into like really take it into consideration and then do what you're saying because maybe that'll help with even with me turning more to God, right?
100%. That's
Yeah.
actually why I turned to God. So, like I said, I didn't grow up knowing any of this stuff. I didn't know about God. I didn't know what church was until I was 12 and a neighbor moved in and then the uncle said, "Hey, what time is church?" And I was like, "What the heck is church? Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. I've never seen this man." And anyways,
You didn't know what church was.
they brought me to church. I was 12. I was
Yeah.
12. And I didn't know what church was. I didn't know who God was. Anyways, but I definitely knew who the devil was. I definitely did because I knew that there was something dark
Yeah.
and I felt it. So, why did I bring this up? Is because I was for a long period of time in my waking life, I say that because I dream a lot. So when I was awake, I was in like la la land. Like I just thought everything was rainbows and butterflies, and I ignored everything that wasn't. Like I was just being innocent on purpose, even though I knew it was there, but I would ignore it. And then as I grew older, life really hit. Like things would happen to me as life does, and I realized like, damn, people are evil
Yeah.
and I couldn't ignore it anymore. And so because I wanted to keep ignoring the fact that there's evil in the world, I became super susceptible and vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. And I just became a playground for all these narcissists, evil girls, evil boys, mostly evil girls. And the first time that I ever went to Newburgh, I was prophesied over about all the evil girls that were in my life. Like the devil wanted to get at me in any way that he could, and mostly in my dreams. In my dreams, I would always have nightmares.
Mm.
And I'm not even gonna get into that because I could talk about that all day. But
Yeah.
so I knew that it existed, and that turned me to God because now I'm not vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. So it's not all me. I wasn't bad. It wasn't because I didn't dream those things on my own. Like
Mm.
I didn't send these people to come and be mean to me, etc. These this yeah. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, you're good. It's perfect.
I knew it was real. And I had to accept that there was evil, and then I had to accept that evil wanted a piece of me.
Mm.
And I was like, "No." I turned to God, and and that was the best thing in my life. But, yeah, so I know that it's real, and I know that I don't struggle with the same, like, addictions and stuff, but the devil can keep me in a loop real easily if I let him. If I wanna play dumb and, like, mm-mm. Like, he yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's as far as we can go today, right?